More fully finished mindless banger are available in Lalai Fully Finished Mindless Banger. Like and follow so you won't get lost. Thank you for your support. My sister Luna Vanity seemed to have been reborn too. In our previous life, her love affair with Kingsley Ho, the so-called crown prince of the capital Salite Circle, was a raging inferno. Skipping classes, street fights, illegal street racing, they did it all. It ended with Kingsley drunk in line, racing his car for her sake, dying in a torrential downpour. And she blamed me for it all. Reborn, her first act was to suggest to our parents, Victor Liu and Victoria Liu, that I'd transferred into Kingsley's class, the notorious bottom-ranked class 13. As she made the suggestion, she declared with smug malice this time, "It's your turn to be bullied by him. Your turn for the tortured love affair." Ava Sterling smiled. People might be reborn, but their brains aren't. He could live 100 lifetimes. You'd still be unworthy as my opponent. In my past life, I was Liu, read back to the Liu mansion under the guise of private tutoring by my adoptive parents, Victor and Victoria, only to be beaten to death. Their contorted faces were the last thing I saw. "We only raised you for Luna's sake. Now that he's gone, what use are you alive?" The agonizing pain of the baseball bat cracking my skull still lingered in my memory, the blood pouring down, obscuring my vision. My eyes snapped open in the darkness. Sunlight streamed into the familiar living room. Sitting across from me were Victoria and my sister, Luna. Victoria's anxious voice pierced the air. "Luna, what's going on? Your teacher called saying you applied to transfer classes to the worst class 13? Luna across from me looked dazed. Transfer? Transfer? She blinked, seeming to snap back to reality. Her gaze swept over me, and she pointed. "Mom, the teacher got it wrong. I meant for Sister Ava to transfer. Class 13 has so many problem students. Sister is always so helpful and gets such good grades. I am sure she'd be happy to help them. Right, sister?" She looked at me, malice barely concealed in her eyes. In our past life, Luna had fallen for Kingsley Ho at first sight. Within 2 months of school starting, she'd thrown a tantrum to transfer into his class 13, the universally acknowledged worst class in the grade. Victoria, utterly indulgent, had given in. The result was 7 years of toxic entanglement, ending with Kingsley dying in that storm for her. Yet Luna pinned the blame squarely on me, simply because Kingsley had exchanged a few pleasantries with me during chance encounters after graduation. She branded me his unattainable white moonlight, her nemesis. Now seeing the pure hat red burning in her eyes as they landed on me, I understood instantly. Luna Vanity had been reborn too. Victoria immediately turned to me, her tone broking no argument. "Luna is right. I'll go to the school today and arrange your transfer." I remained silent. Victor and Victoria had adopted me solely because my father died saving Victor. They read the label of ingrates in their eyes. I was always just an accessory, a servant for Luna. When Luna transferred classes in our past life, she'd vehemently refused to let me follow, gloating afterward. "Don't think I don't know. Kingsley skipped class to watch you at the city violin competition, thinking you could be near him every day. Dream on." Back then, I couldn't be bothered to explain. That rumor was one I had spread to keep her from dragging me down. Now that she was reborn, fine, we play this game on a different field. Impossible. That night, Luna silently slipped into my room. My door could be locked. I had no right to privacy. She stood by my bed, her venomous gaze raking over me inch by inch, then suddenly laughed. "Sister, this time it's your turn to be bullied by him. Your turn for the tortured love affair. I wonder if he has already given you his special welcome?" The next day, as I stepped into class 13 with my backpack, a textbook hurt led towards my face. I sidestepped it. A lazy voice drawled from nearby. "Who said you could dodge?" Kingsley Ho lounged in his chair, legs propped on the desk, watching me with amused interest. "Forget it. I'll give you a chance. Pick it up. Hand it to me. Respectfully. Let me throw it again. Consider yourself spared for this morning." A faint tremor flickered across my eyelids. I bent down, picked up the book, and walked step by step towards him. The gazes of his cronies beside him were filled with contempt. I smiled. "Like this?" Before the words fully left my mouth, I slammed the book Shijid's spine, straight onto the bridge of his nose. "Ah!" Kingsley Ho, leaping up, his once proud nose instant lice swelled and bled. He clutched his face, glaring at me with icy male violence. "Bitch, you're dead." His thugs immediately closed in. "Quiet." The homeroom teacher appeared just in time. "This is our new transfer student, Ava Sterling, second place in the entrance exams. I hope everyone will get along well and learn from Ava in the future. Kingsley sneered through the hand, covering his nose. Don Torrey, teacher, we'll definitely have a harmonious co-existence with Ava. He heavily emphasized the last four words. His bullying tactics were straight out of a Leach novel, thumbtacks embedded on chairs, dead snakes and rats stuffed into desks, insolently plucked out the tacks. Expressionless lie grabbed the dead snake and rat, and flung them with unerring accuracy back into his lap, making him turn pale with fright. When violence failed, he escalated to direct brutality. After school one day, I found a note tucked inside my problem set. They were taking you to the equipment room. I crumpled the note and tossed it in the trash. Who sent it? Since transferring, I'd realized class 13 was N.T. entirely delinquents. It was sharply divided. Kingsley's gang ruled through intimidation. The rest were mostly ordinary students, from impoverished or difficult backgrounds. Their space severely squeezed. My gaze swept the room, finally landing on a girl named Sophie Sue sitting diagonally behind Kingsley. She flinched and looked away nervously. He understood. I stood up nonchalantly. Ava, Sophie called out, summoning her courage. We can walk with you? She and a few other girls looked at me timidly, seeing the mix of fear and bravery in their eyes. I gave a slight wry smile. No need, Don, get yourselves involved. The moment I stepped out of the classroom, Kingsley and his crew shoved me into the equipment room tucked in a corner of the sports field. Inside, illuminated by a flashlight beam, held by one of Kingsley's slack A's, stood another familiar face, Luna Vanity. Kingsley stood beside her. So this is the sister who lords it over Luna at home? He asked. Luna responded coolly. Yes, but you shouldn't treat her like this. I don't want to become like her. She struck a pose of aloe of defiance, utterly different from her past life self. Reborn, she knew exactly what Kingsley craved. Sure enough, his eyes filled with tender concern. Luna persuaded further. Besides, my sister has studied violin for over a decade. Her hands are the most precious things, are the most beautiful when destroyed, aren't they? Kingsley scoffed, signaling the men holding me. Right here. Break her fingers one by one. Make sure she never touches a violin again. Malice flashed in Luna's eyes. A thug shoved me against the parallel bars. Another raised a heavy dumbbell. Idiot, I stated flatly. What did you say? Kingsley's eyes narrowed dangerously. I met his gaze. If I were you, I wouldn't pull such a stupid stunt at school. During the critical period of show family equity distribution, his pupils constricted violently. I counted silently in my head. 3, 2. The equipment room door slammed open with a crash, but it wasn't the people I'd arranged. I stared in shock at Sophie and her friends in the doorway. I thought their offer to walk with me was the limit of their courage. Sophie took a deep breath, leaning on a friend for support, and raised a battered old flip phone, her voice trembling but resolute. I've already called the police. Silence hung heavy for a few seconds. Then Kingsley erupted in mocking laughter. Sophie, didn't get enough of a lesson last time? Still playing the hero? Called the police? Do you even know who I am? Think the police can touch me? His gaze swept over them. Sophie paled. Then a cold, authoritative female voice cut through from outside. If the police can't handle it, perhaps I can? Serena Cho, clad in a deep blue silk gown, strode in on stiletto heels, her presence commanding the room. Kingsley, ho, did I or did I not tell you this is a critical period? No trouble. She crossed her arms, her voice icy. Kingsley's bravado instantly evaporated. Let her go. Home, now. Serena commanded. Serena, she started it. Kingsley protested, weak lie. I didn't care what it is. Actions require strategy. And timing is everything. Me stopping you now doesn't me in ways will. Serena cut him off, leaving no room for argument. Kingsley shot me a venomous glare, waved dismissively to release me, and sullenly followed Serena out. Yes, Serena was here because of an anonymous letter from me, old master. Cho had passed away last month, and the younger generation was locked in a vicious battle for shares. Any scandal now could be fatal. Serena would never let her idiot brother ruin her grand plans, but Kingsley clearly resented being manipulated. As she left, Serena swept her emotionless gaze over me. He returned it calmly, silently mouthing the words, "Next time." Luna stared at me, hatred burning, then suddenly laughed. Serena ho actually came. So you came back too. A look of triumphant challenge spread across her face. Too bad it's useless. I'm his white moonlight now. You're the one being bullied. Once the Ho family settles their internal fight, let's see how you die. She strutted out head held high. Only Sophie, her friends, and I remained in the equipment room. Ava, we're glad you're okay. We'll go now, Sophie said, clutching her chipped phone, forcing a weak smile. Wait, stopped her. The monthly exam papers were handed back today. Any questions you could solve? Sophie froze, staring at me in disbelief. Not just you. Any student in class 13. If you have questions, come to me, I said, smiling as I patted her shoulder. A class. Should NTWE improve together? In this era, the poor scholar rising to prominence was one in a million. Most were like Sophie, from impoverished backgrounds, with average grades, struggling just to survive, yet still tormented by bullies like Kingsley. Why should they bear this? In the dim light, I saw the spark ignite in the girl's eyes, like stars in a dark sky. This world, I said slowly, deliberately, belongs to us ordinary people. The next day, Kingsley was absent. The Ho family power struggle had intensified, consuming his attention. It naturally took charge of class 13 self-study periods. The time Kingsley had turned chaotic became my extra tutoring sessions. In both lives, I poured everything into studying. I stayed up late compiling key problem sets, printing and distributing them. They worked frantically, pulling difficult questions for me to solve the next day. Kingsley's cronies tried to disrupt once, splashing paint on my notes while snickering. When Brother Nan returns, it'll be your funeral. At my signal, Zoe Howe, Sophie's deskmate, silently closed the front and back classroom doors. Every student stood up, converging step by step on the troublemakers. You seem confused about the situation, I said, raising a water glass and smashing it onto the face of the ringleader. Glass shards flew. Before that happens, your funeral might come sooner. The next monthly exam sent shockwaves through the grade. The bottom-ranked class 13 had rocketed to third place in average scores. They held 2 spots in the top 10. School administrators rushed to investigate. It's our class monitor, Ava Sterling. She's been tutoring us, a student blurted out. Ava Sterling? The Liu family's foster daughter? Second in the entrance exam? First in the grade this time? Who transferred her to class 13? A leader remembered me. Where is he? The headmaster asked. That day coincided with a temporary lull in the Hill family feud. Kingsley returned to school. Predictably, he cornered me on my way in. In a shadowy alley near the school gate, Kingsley kicked over a trash can, his smile chilling. Ava Sterling, I told you you'd be dead when I got back. Luna hovered nearby, feigning concern. Don't go too far. It'll be hard to cover up if it blows up. Relax, Kingsley sneered. My sister can save you this time. He advanced with the cronies ID. Humiliated. Heard you got first place? Good at solving problems? Good at playing violin? When your hand gets accidentally broken, I bet you'll cry beautifully, won't you? They grabbed my wrists, slamming them towards the rough brick wall. Stop! The headmaster's sharp command rang out. The cronies flinched, releasing me. School hours. What are you doing? The principal's face was livid. Before Kingsley could speak, I spoke first, my voice trembling slightly. Teachers. They were trying to cripple my hands. In the conference room, Kingsley and his gang stood, with arrogant confidence. The principal cleared his throat. We understand the situation. Kingsley Ho's actions were, indeed, inappropriate, but fortunate lie. No serious harm was done. I think, let Saul take a step back and let this go. I smiled. Just like that? Then Idman Kingsley Ho offer me a formal apology. Not unreasonable, is it? Apologize to you? Kingsley laughed as if hearing the world's greatest joke. You think you deserve it? Whether I deserve it isn't for you to decide. I held my ground. There are cameras on that path, near the gate. Since we can't agree, let's call the police. Tension crackled. The principal, unable to fully antagonize the Ho's yet fearing a police scandal, had a teacher pull me aside. Ava, we apologize for your distress. It was an oversight. How about this? The school awards you this year special scholarship, and we'll strengthen management to ensure class 13 students aren't mistreated again. Agreed? I couldn't help but laugh. So the school knew class 13 students were suffering? The teacher flushed. I savored his discomfort. Since you put it that way, fine. However, please distribute this money under the Collective Progress Award to every class 13 student who showed significant improvement, excluding the Crown Prince and his lackeys. Of course, the school acted swiftly, distributing the scholarships. When the news reached the class, Sophie and Zoe reacted intensely. I don't want this money. Sophie Sayus reddened. He should have apologized. If we'd been a second later your hand, you wouldn't have been late. I said. The timing of the school leader's appearance was calculated. Note, highlighting the protagonist as foresight and planning. Besides, even if you hadn't come, they might not have succeeded. Spoiled brats fear mutually assured destruction. Zoe Howe, the girl who made the top 10, silently handed me her bank card. I pushed it back. I didn't need money. You earn enough from freelance coding gigs. Don T-Field. In DBD Ed, a hollow apology is worthless. He did never mean it. What matters is tangible gain. With less than 6 months until the college entrance exam Gaokao, this money could help impoverished students focus. In my past life, few from class 13 made it to university. 2 girls were even injured by Kingsley and missed the exam, becoming mere background noise. In his tortured love story, I realized my rebirth might not just be for revenge, but to change more fates. But after this, Kingsley will hate you even more, Zoe said, clutching the card after a moment silence. And your sister, he's been behind every major incident. They won't stop. I smiled, ruffling her messy short hair. Leave them to me. You just focus on studying. You saved me in the equipment room. Now I want to save you. That night, I had a rare dream of my past life. After the Gaokao, I moved out of the Lu house. During my 2nd year of grad school, I ran into Serena Show at an academic conference. He chatted under the guise of being a high school classmate, hoping to secure funding for a project. I briefed him on its potential. In the capital, the next day, Luna showed up weeping and screaming. Bitch, how dare you be his unforgettable white moonlight. Did you sleep with your advisor to get that face? I took a bite of my sandwich. Expressionless. Security. She was dragged away roughly. I moved into the lab. Only after my project concluded did I learn Luna was in trouble. Kingsley was dead. Victoria Lu read me back under the pretense of a family dinner, and together with Victor they killed me. My eyes snapped open. Moonlight streamed cold dry into the room. The phantom pain of my skull shattering lingered. I stared at the crescent moon, a cold smile touching my lips. No, next time. After the school's intervention, Kingsley dared not bully openly, but he grew closer to Luna. She had him wrapped around her finger. Whatever she whispered, Kingsley's gaze towards me grew more venomous by the day. He stopped targeting others, channeling all his hatred onto me. Soon Gaoka arrived. Luna and I had different test centers. That morning, she clung to Victor and Victoria. I'm so nervous. I need mom and dad with me. Sister is so independent. She can go alone. I left as dawn broke. Walking down a quiet path, the sky abruptly darkened. An engine roared. A fiery red sports car screeched to a halt, blocking my way. Kingsley and one crony jumped out, sneering. Think you Ray walking into that exam hall unscathed? Dream on. The Gaokao is a dream for people like you. I was born at a height you'll never reach. I don't need the exam to get into the best schools. Think you're clever? Call for help now. No one's coming here. Agony ripped through my abdomen. He kicked me to the ground. I struggled to rise. He loomed over me. Trash. I'm sick of you. A dog's life is your fate. Who gave you permission to fight back? This time I'll break your fingers myself. He lunged, grabbing for my wrist. In a flash I seized his hair and slammed his head into the brick wall. Thud. Ah. Kingsley screamed. The crony rushed forward, pinning my shoulders, slamming my left shoulder hard against the wall. The sickening crack of bone was unmistakable. Excruciating pain shot through me. Not enough. As the crony shifted his grip, I wrenched my left arm free and scraped its savage lie down the rough, grit-covered wall beside me. Re-it. A burning pain erupted. Blood welled, staining my white uniform shirt crimson. Kingsley helped up from the ground, stared at the scene, bewildered and furious. You, what are you doing? Sunlight pierced the Ellie's gloom, gritting my teeth against the pain of my fractured arm. I flung my bloody hand, splattering red droplets onto the pavement. I looked up at him, my expression a mix of agony and fierce triumph. Kingsley Ho, you wasted your studies, tyrannized for 3 years. Let me teach you a line from the textbooks. The fury of a common man means 5 steps bathed in blood. Note, quoting the idiom from Tangju, does not humiliate his mission, emphasizing resolve. I suppressed my ragged breathing, raising an eyebrow. I wondered if you were smart enough not to act today. Pity you. Ray is irredeemably stupid as Luna. The hot wind stunned my wound, the pain fueling my savage grin. Born at the top, can you guarantee you'll never fall? Before he could react, 2 young female journalists, Scarlett Zhu and Vivian Liu, appeared at the Ellie's entrance as if summoned. Camera flashes exploded, capturing the empty bracket where a surveillance camera had been torn down. My white dress smeared with mud and blood, my mangled bloody arm, my red-rimmed eyes and the tear tracing my cheek. What are you doing, Kingsley? Realizing too late he'd walked into a trap, blustered, I'm Ho family, handling private business. Want to keep your jobs? Get lost. He tried to intimidate them. Scarlett and Vivian paused. Kingsley thought he'd won, a cold smirk forming. Instead they stepped closer. Scarlett, the short-haired reporter, spoke clearly and firmly, young Master Show. There are always people in this world unafraid of. You've been camp-bred too long to realize it, haven't you? Vivian, the ponytailed reporter, carefully avoiding my injured arm, grabbed my other hand. Come on. I was bundled into their car. Kingsley's red sports car pursued us relentlessly. The timing was perfect. The test center entrance was packed with parents and media. Our car screeched to a halt before the crowd. I took a deep breath, tore open the wound on my arm, letting fresh blood soak my dressing. Then, I pushed open the door and stumbled out, covered in blood. The crowd gasped. Every camera lens swung towards me. I turned towards the red sports car, shouting with all my strength. So what if you're Ho family? So what if you raid the capital's crown prince? What right do you have to stop me from taking this exam? So what if you break my arm? Even if I have only one breath left, I'll crawl in there to hand in my paper today. Go ahead, kill me right here if you dare. Kingsley burst from his car, aghast at the unfolding disaster. In the reflection of his widened pupils, I saw myself, hair disheveled, covered in wounds, my bloodied skirt billowing like a defiant flag. What? Scared? I curled my lip, my gaze shifting from the police cars speeding towards us behind him back to his face, a taunting smile on my lips. Now, I'm going to take my exam. I turned my back on him, amidst the crowd shock, sympathy and outrage flanked by police. I walked, dragging my injured body, step by determined step, towards the test center entrance. The exam proceeded as scheduled. In the sweltering exam hall, sweat seeped into my wounds, but the pain kept my mind unnerving. Lie clear. After the first day's tests, I went to the hospital. Sophie accompanied me. It will scar, she whispered. I watched the doctor pick out grit with tweezers. Probably, but it's fine. Ismailed faint lie. Dealing with a crown prince demands operas. After treatment, I didn't return to the Lou house, resting in a huddle near the test center. The exam was difficult for me. Besides, I carried the complete knowledge and memories of my past life wealth Luna could never attain, even reborn 100 times. After the final exam, I went straight to the hospital. Unsurprising lie. My name dominated the hot searches. Capital Crown Prince Kingsley Ho blocks top. Student on Gaoko Day attempts to break hand. Kingsley Zhu Yamzu family. Avasterling take evasited. Whereas Geiko Feifeizens. The video of our bloody standoff at the test center topped the charts. OMG, he was top of his grade, bullied by the Ho kid even at school. If he couldn't take the Gaokao, 3 years of effort wasted. Investigate the Ho's. Above the law. This girl is so brave. Taking the exam bleeding. Tears. I looked at Sophie and Zoe by my hospital bed. Sophie peeled an apple. Zoe sat opposite. Everyone wanted to visit. Afraid of disturbing you, Zoe said. Minor injury. Discharging tomorrow, I said, shifting my plastered shoulder. How did you do? Confident you beat me? Who wants to beat you? She was silent for a moment, then asked, how did you know those reporters, Scarlett and Vivian, would help and arrive exactly on time? Zoe was class 13 sharpest observer. That day, few reporters dared follow, fearing the Ho's. But Scarlett, Zhu and Vivian Liu were different. Because the brave stay brave, the just stay just. I gazed out at the sunlight. In my past, I'd heard of them. In another city, a professor committed massive academic fraud. Students protested. The journalists leading the charge? 2 brave young women, Scarlett Zhu and Vivian Liu. Note: rationalize Yang past life knowledge as a heard story about an incident elsewhere. When I contacted them, they were still interns. After hearing my plan, they were confused. I called Scarlett's perplexed voice. If you suspect he'll try something, why not just avoid him? Why risk yourself? Because it entwant to just avoid it. This time, I looked at Zoe and Sophie, my gaze sharp. Who has he bullied? Just me? Just one class? If we fight big. Let everyone see what the Ho's truly are. Public outrage fermented for weeks. Peaking when my Gaokao results were announced, I scored nearly 20 points higher than my past life, becoming the provincial top scorer. My value skyrocketed. Finally, the Ho family sent a heavier hitter to negotiate. Victor and Victoria summoned me back to the Liu mansion. Pushing open the door, seeing Serena Ho seated regally, I smiled. Serena, I told you we'd meet again. Rage flickered in her eyes. ultimately replaced by cold assessment. Ava Sterling, state your terms. I feigned ignorance. Terms for what? Victor slam at the table. Stop playing dumb. Take the win. Clearly, the lose had cut a deal with the hoes. Victoria's voice was icy. We raised you all these years. Do you plan to repay kindness with mighty kindness? I laughed, a sound full of bitter incredulity. You adopted me only because my father died saving Victor Liu. You fee-read being labeled ungrateful wretches. One life traded for 8 years as Alu family servant. And I'm the one owing you? Note, adding background on father saving Alu. Making adoption motive clearer. I list patience. Enough. I'm getting my documents. I went to my room, gathered my ID and papers. As I walked out, Serena remained seated, her eyes radiating pure hat read the killing intent of the powerful towards an upstart who dared defy them. I smiled. Serena, you should have known before coming. I win tea. Settle. I just wanted to see if you were as stupid as I thought. She stood, her heels made her tower over me, her aura imposing. Seems I was the fury of a common man? Just words. Did you actually believe them? She offered Asmol colder than ice. The consequences of offending the Ho family are beyond your capacity to bear. Ultimately, the Ho family paid a steep price to suppress the scandal. Kingsley was shipped abroad to lie low. My class 13 classmates and I returned to school for honors. That year the entire class passed the university entrance cutoff. Zoe Howe scored 692 and got into a top university. The principal ecstatic grasped my hand, promising a hefty scholarship. I smiled. Principal, you recall the incident outside the test center? He froze. More than a scholarship. I hope the school will henceforth act impartially, strengthen oversight, ensure there's never another Kingsley Ho who treats lives like weeds. He gave a dry laugh and agreed. ICNU, the Education Bureau, had already launched at a bullying investigation post-Gaokao. The environment here would be fairer for years to come. Leaving school, I bumped into Luna. The hat red in her eyes surpassed even our past life. Ava Sterling, how dare you? She hissed through clenched teeth. You think rebirth lets you overturn the heavens? Offend the toes? You have no idea how you'll die. No need for your concern. It curved my lips, my eyes glacial. Or, you could try killing me yourself. See what price the hoes pay. In September, I entered Tsinghua University School of Opto Electronics. The lingering media attention brought scrutiny but also helped me quickly reconnect with my past life. Mentor Professor Eleanor Tan. Professor Tan for this World University hardware programming competition. I'd like you to be my advisor. I stated directly. She assessed me, her gaze warm behind her glasses. Ikno you, the student who dared challenge the hoes. Ava. After I won the gold medal uncontested, I handed Professor Tan the research findings for a chip technology years ahead of its time. The atmosphere in her empty office was grave. Professor Tan scrutinized me severely. This project is top secret. You're just a freshman. Ava Sterling, I need an explanation. You can credit my unusual aptitude. I met her piercing gaze. Or, maybe I forgot to drink Mengpo soup in my last life? Professor, I understand your skepticism. Verify the experimental data, the results. Investigate my knowledge background. I only want to do what I can. In this era of rapid technological advancement, shaving years off detours, leading in core technologies against rival nations, you understand the significance far better than I. Professor Tan was exceeding cautious. A week later, she called me to her home. Her first question echo at Zoe's spot was different. How did you know those reporters? Scarlett and Vivian would help? You contacted them directly. No trial and error. Utterly certain from the start. You didn't even struggle to find their contacts? And earlier, you sent the Ho family an anonymous letter? In her study, her gaze was laser sharp. I met at Stia Daily. I lost my mother young. After my father died, I was fostered by the Lus. I didn't know what parental love felt like. Until my past life, I decided on partial honesty. Or rather, in my deepest confusion, it was your later guidance that gave me direction and strength. Back then, I'd been in the lab for 3 days straight on my thesis, still calculating data during a group dinner. You tapped my head with chopsticks. Can't focus even while eating? Think I'm exploiting you? Then you pinched my cheek. Smile more. A young thing less lively than this old lady. My gaze was sincere. Like walking in darkness for too long. Someone hands you a lamp, shows you the way, and tells you not to be afraid. Professor Tan studied me for a long moment, then spoke, a hint of curiosity and understanding in her voice. When I'm not doing research, I read novels too. Time travel, rebirth, wildly imaginative, but quite entertaining. I blinked then smiled too. Really? I rarely read them, she continued, as if it were casual conversation. What you've given me. I'll expedite verification and push the project forward rationally. Apply to join my lab early, after finishing your core courses. Any other difficulties, just ask. No difficulties. I stepped forward, grasping her hand sincerely. Professor. Truly none. With Professor Tan's connections, I took significant strides, developed large-scale algorithm software, amassed substantial capital, and gained better information channels. Top domestic tech firms even sent me invitations to commercial galas. I attended one, hoping to find gems amidst the corporate glitter, only to encounter Luna Vanity, dressed in a pristine white gown, pearls at her throat. She trailed behind Serena Cho, basking in attention. In our past life, her relationship with Kingsley was despised by the shows, Serena especially. It seemed she successfully integrated this time. I offered a mocking smile, handed over my business card, and turned to leave, only to be stopped by Luna's call. Ava Sterling. She left Serena's side, sauntered over, raised her glass with feigned innocence. Sisters should end old grudges. Instead of hawking your little projects everywhere, why not beg me? Beg you for what? I raised an eyebrow. She laughed, loud and triumphant. I am the Ho family's officially recognized future daughter-in-law now. What do you think you should beg for? Her eyes blazed with unchecked triumph. He understood. She'd come so lie to gloat, finally achieving her dream. Too stupid to engage. I turned to leave, her voice shrill with fury. Followed me. How long can you gloat? The storm passed long ago. When Kingsley returns, see how you die. I'll laugh watching you die. I saw Kingsley Ho again 3 years later, at an industry expo I attended with Zoe Howe. Zoe and I walked through the vast exhibition hall. She was debugging a robotic arm when she suddenly said, "How John called this morning. Got the job." Everyone is really grateful. Ava, those last 6 months of high school, you crammed almost a year's worth of tutoring into us, pulled us over the university line, and now, using your connections to get us internships. Her voice lowered. Sometimes it feels like a dream. I dreamed. It was you who transferred to class 13. It was Luna. She was bullied by Kingsley but fell for him. Later, before the Gaokao, they fought. That afternoon, Sophie and I happened to pass by. I was silent for a moment, then patted her hand. Dawn 12. That was the dream. I watched the robotic arm smoothly type out code. This is reality. And didn't just give you internships. Building connections means you work for me. Tell everyone it's a fair trade. You owe me nothing. She stared at me, the usually taciturn Zoe even more lost for words. I was about to suggest leaving when a voice, thick with malice, cut through the air. Ava Sterling. I looked up, meeting the Chen Yen Ruel gloomy and sharp gaze of Kingsley Ho a short distance away. 3 years. Polishing abroad had made him more controlled, yet infinite lie more sinister. A twisted smile spread across his face as he strode over. Long time no see, top scorer. I smiled back. Kingsley, 3 years. Thought you died in some foreign ditch. His expression didn't flicker, but the malice intensified. Lucky you stayed in China, otherwise I could shoot you dead right now and claim self-defense. He thought it sounded menacing. Just then, the robotic arm beside us abruptly spun counter clockwise, its metal limb swooing with a heavy clang, connecting solidly with the back of Kingsley Sheed. Ow, what the hell? Kingsley instantly lost his cool, clutching his head, glaring murderously at Zoe. Zoe Howe remained utterly calm, smoothly resetting the arm. Apologies. Operational error. Slipped. Kingsley could stay composed for long. Soon, he struck. An anonymous report accused Professor Tan and me of academic fraud. The reasoning seemed plausible. How could an undergraduate develop such a publish 3 papers in top journals? Impossible. The Gaokao standoff was dread. Get up. The narrative flipped. I'd orchestrated it, building a beautiful, strong, tragic persona. Chi-Chi made such a fuss back then, and he still became top scorer? Too fake. Ordinary student offends Ho's lives this well? Wins hardware design gold as a freshman? Possible? Advisor must be dirty. Manipulating public opinion was a shoe specialty. They'd only lost 3 years ago because they were caught off guard. This time, they aimed to destroy us completely. All of Professor Tan's and my projects were suspended. We were even temporarily suspended from teaching pending investigation standard procedure for the severity. As we were escorted out, Professor Tan reassured me. Don't fear, a clear conscience. fears no accusation. I asked Professor, do you believe in me? In the faint dawn light, she looked at me calmly, worry in her eyes. But more than that, trust. Pulling back the timeline, observing everyone's actions at each critical juncture. It's fascinating. I mused, tapping my chin. Like a game of Go, each move might not show immediate effect, but much later, when everything connects. Emit Professor Tan's gaze. You realize the initial action served more than one purpose. For the next 2 weeks I laid low, letting the storm rage, even deliberately leaving clues to make the shows believe the papers were truly flawed. They predictably pounced like sharks smelling blood, attacking more viciously. Luna also surfaced, tearful lie accusing me of ingratitude and bullying her. When the scandal reached a fever pitch, demanding resolution, I held a nationally live-streamed press conference. Scarlett Zhu and Vivian Liu conducted the interview. Under the cameras, I opened a file. These are records of my paid tutoring and course design work since high school, proving my capabilities aren't fabricated. Here are the complete R&D concepts, technical pathways, and validation reports for the TW2108 chip. These are all drafts of my papers and the complete raw experimental data. As for whether the Gaokao incident was a publicity stunt, Izinya led the director play the footage. The screen projected the alley scene. Zoomed-in shots showed every detail. The dismantled camera bracket, the bloodied white dress, the mangled arm, the red-rimmed eyes and hair, and Kingsley Ho's vicious face. His threat crystal clear. I'm Ho family, handling private business. Want to keep your jobs? Get lost. The screen went dark, footage ended. I steadied myself facing the cameras. My voice clear and strong. Ignore the Ho's hate me. They want me to vanish. Like everyone else they've crushed. But I refuse to yield. Why should bullies escape consequences? Why can lies masquerade as truth through slander? This world doesn't belong to the shows. It belongs to everyone. Under the clear sky the clouds will part. My voice rose, filled with final resolve. Now, I formally accuse the Ho family. I accuse Kingsley Ho, Serena Ho, and their family members of intentional assault, Gaokao attack, incitement to commit a crime, equipment room incident, and false accusation, current allegations. Furthermore, I accuse Ho Corporation of leveraging power for unfair competition, market monopolization, bribing officials, stealing state scientific research secrets, and endangering national security. The large screen instantly flashed photos, scanned contracts with official seals, bank transaction records, covert lie captured images of decadent parties and illicit exchanges. The people pictured were wealthy and powerful, chatting amiably with Kingsley and Serena, exchanging files or envelopes. Even photos surfaced of Kingsley's secret lie meeting sensitive figures during his overseas studies. The evidence stream hadn't finished when the live feed was for CI Bly cut. Static filled the screen, but I knew everything I'd said, everything I'd shown, was already spreading like wildfire across the internet. Scarlett, Vivian, and I sat under the studio lights, who rubbed my stiff cheeks. He told you, it didn't he? Want to just avoid it once. If we fight big. The Ho family's internal feud involved far more than shares, because the stakes were so high and demanded precision. Serena had personally stopped Kingsley's idiocy. After leaving the equipment room, she took him to an exclusive club and closed a deal, selling core technology and market interests to external forces in exchange for their support. With that backing, they won the Ho war. After the Gaokao scandal, Serena sent Kingsley abroad to lie low, facilitating contact with their collaborators. His return now signaled everything was ready. Once Professor Tan and I were discredited, their people would seize the project and hand the fruits to foreign hands. That day when I told Professor Tan trust me, she was silent for a moment, then only asked, what do you need me to do? I gave her a list names of entities coveting our tech, identified through past life memories and post-rebirth investigation. I sold early software versions to companies competing with the shows or involved in national security, using the profits and connections to get my class 13 classmates internships there, mingling in marketing and networking. They captured useful photos and overheard key information. Knowing the outcome made tracing the path to their undestroyed evidence easier. The Ho's new disaster loomed, trying desperately to suppress the narrative, but they had fueled this fire. I wouldn't let them extinguish it. The edifice crumbled. Ho patriarch, Serena Ho, Kingsley Ho were taken away by the authorities. Rain fell daily. The Liu family, deeply entang-led and complicit, to the point of treason, wasn't spared. Victor and Victoria, who had dotted on Luna, who killed me in rage over his death in the past life, now to save his life, took all the blame upon themselves. That afternoon, I walked out of the research institute under an umbrella. A figure lunged at me like a mad thing. I sidestepped, watching the gaunt figure sprawl in the rain. Luna Vanity. He looked up, rain and tears mixing on his face, voice thick with hatred. Why? In our past life you were just a bookworm, yet you became his unforgettable white moonlight. This life I became his irreplaceable one, just like you were. So why? Why did you destroy him today? Destroy the shows? Ava Sterling, you bitch. Why didn't you die? Slap. My palm cracked sharply across his cheek. I threw down the umbrella, grabbed his wet face in the cold rain, my words freezing to the bone. The one who deserved death was never me. Did I destroy the Lus? No, they committed murder. Arson, betrayed their country, brought ruin upon themselves. Crown Prince of the capital? What era is this? Crown princes belong in the grave with the feudal remnants they represent. Luna Vanity, don't you understand yet? I released him, watching him crumble, my voice dripping with contempt. You were too stupid, too short-sighted. Reborn once, what could you have done? Saved an entire class's future. Advanced core technology 5 years. Uprooted a cancer early, preventing national losses. Even changed the world. And you? I looked down at him like garbage. Only thought about becoming some man's white moonlight. Stupid beyond redemption. Victor and Victoria Liu took all the blame. Luna's life was spared, but he was penniless and infamous. He sat in the rain, head tilted back, staring blankly at me, the downpour blurring the world. After a moment, Luna Vanity began to sob, a sound of utter despair and bitter resentment. The Ho siblings were sentenced to death. Later, news came. Kingsley somehow found help en route to execution. He attempted escape. Police pursued him to the docks. Kingsley Ho, resisting arrest, was shot multiple times and died on the spot. Victor and Victoria Liu received 20-year sentences. Not long after the news broke, Luna Vanity committed suicide, perhaps feeling he had nothing left, perhaps hoping for another rebirth. Who knows? I turned off my computer and went to wash my hands by the window. Through the glass, I saw Sophie Suzoe Hao and my class 13 friends standing outside the research institute, waving and smiling. I turned to Professor Eleanor Tan, who had just entered. Professor, taking leave tonight. Class reunion? Like I ever stop you? She glanced at me, understanding amusement in her eyes. Go. Young people shouldn't be workaholics. I waved and headed downstairs. The elevator doors opened on the first floor. The lobby was bathed in golden sunset light. My friends Sophie, Zoe and those once timid class 13 students, now with eyes full of light, were waiting for me ahead, smiling, and the path stretching before me was filled with nothing but brilliance.